Welcome to the SVG-TV news. It's for Friday, March 20th. I'm Khalil Cato with the details. Yesterday, a new $500,000 school bus was handed over to transport students from Fancy and surrounding communities. The purchase of the bus came in response to the fatal rock gutter tragedy on January 12th, which took the lives of 7 students from the Fancy community. It was a collaborative effort made by the government, the Mustique Charitable Trust, the National Lotteries Authority, and Petro-Caribe. Sharon Garraway was at the handing over ceremony held at the Fancy Hardcourt and files this report.
Students to take care of their new mode of transport, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Transport and Works, Hudson Ned, said there continues to be challenges with the servicing of government vehicles.
It's because there is always this notion on the stock that if something is owned by the private sector, it tends to get better care and attention. So that is part and parcel of the strategy. And so in combination with what is owned and operated by the government, we have included contractors, private contractors, to make up for the losses we had to our own fleet.
A similar sentiment of the importance of vehicular maintenance was also sounded by Chairman of the National Lotteries Authority, Maury Bullock.
If you go into the bushes and you get pricked by a thorn, in all local parlance we say a kashi. And if you don't attend to it immediately, it might fester and become a very serious wound. Preventative maintenance is vitally essential. It is as essential as putting oil and gas in it.
Administrator of the Mustique Charitable Trust, Lavinia Gunn, said she is happy that the Fancy area continues to be developed and elevated. She noted that the contributors of the bus were more than excited to give towards the safe and comfortable travel of the students.
He lost no time in getting in touch with the Mustique Charitable Trust, who then got in touch with all their donors. And without hesitation, it was agreed immediately that $100,000 would be made as a contribution towards the purchase of the bus.
Meanwhile, Administrative Officer of Petro-Caribe, Malaika Joseph, said the company has become synonymous with the reaching out and giving assistance to those in need. She said the people of Fancy would also be extended that helping hand.
We stood with the people of Fancy, and I'd like to offer my condolences to the family and those who lost their loved ones, and know that Petro-Caribe, we are here to support, not just with the purchase of the bus, but in any other further assistance that we are willing to give, whatever it is. We are here, Fancy, we are here for you.
Noting that he is delighted to serve the people of the North Windward area, Representative Montgomery Daniel said in his 14 years of stewardship, his government has always sought ways to facilitate the needs of his constituents.
Despite the tragedy, the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines has restored our dignity and our pride. He has improved the living standards of the people here in this part of the constituency. And when having a brand new bus to the value of $500,000 is something that we should be thankful for.
Dispelling claims that his government was delinquent in its delivery of the needs of the people, Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves said they were continuously negotiating with the family to acquire the lands for the new cemetery at Fancy. He said after the rock gutter tragedy, the family decided to sell the lands. He also noted that transportation for the students in the community was forthcoming.
That's a tourist bus, you know. It has a intercom, you can talk in it. You see, we are leaving Fancy now and we are entering Sandy Bay. You know, you can talk and you can give all kind of instructions along the way, like how the tour guides them do. You hear me? They have leather seats, you know. You hear me? Not a full kind of seat you can sit on Pandero. And I want to tell you this. It's air conditioned, you know. I tell you again, the best for you. So those who want to talk, let them talk. I am giving Fancy the best.
Keeping good on his promise, the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines and the Prime Minister has given the people of Fancy the best, a fanciful bus. Leather seats, intercom, 30-seater Nissan bus. It is the best here for Fancy. Reporting for SVG-TV Evening News, I am Sharon Garrow.
Meanwhile, residents of Fancy took the opportunity to express their feelings about the new school bus for the students.
Well, I think it's going to be a big blessing, and I only hope the people make good use of it.
We have our own good seat, and there's seat belts all over the seats. So we thank the Prime Minister for this new bus.
I driving for government over 8 years, and I normally work Fancy. When I start Fancy. And I always enjoy working with the Fancy student because they're so polite to me. Yeah, so I feel so proud driving this bus with them.
Many of the times they have to be on the road wandering, especially when the bus is fully loaded from Kingston, the one that we had before. So I think this is something very good for us in the community. I just hope that the children will take very good care of it. We feel good.
What makes you feel good?
Because we're thankful for it.
Before they provide subsidy on the bus, they provided transport subsidy for each of the children, but now they have taken a step forward and have provided a bus. And this is something that is really welcome for the village of Fancy.
The road is good for it also. So we have no problem with that. It's a nice revolution.
And the other children, I ask them to take care of what they have. We are very grateful and thankful for what the PM is doing for all of us.
The children, them as they travel inside it, they take care of the bus, and I believe they have a confident driver, and we are very thankful for it.
The ride was fascinating. It was like we were flying in an aeroplane.
And Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves left the state earlier today for an official visit to the Kingdom of Morocco. He is leading a 5-member delegation on this visit following an invitation from the King of Morocco, King Mohammed VI. The other members of the delegation include his wife Eloise Gonsalves, the ambassador to the United Nations, Rhonda King, chairman and CEO of the Argyle, that should be the International Airport Development Company, Dr. Rudy Matthias, and Inspector Adrian Francois of the Prime Minister's security detail. PM Gonsalves is expected to hold discussions with top-level officials in Morocco on a wide range of mutually agreed matters, including airport development, education, and training. He's expected to return to the state on March 27th. SV Brown Agencies, headed by Vincentian Stanley Brown, is now the general agent of Sagicor Life Incorporated, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. At a media conference yesterday, Vice President of Sales and Marketing of Sagicor Eastern Caribbean, Trevor Vigo, said Sagicor has been operating in SVG since 1842 through Sid Hazel as the general agent and principal representative. However, at the end of 2014, Hazel took the decision to relinquish his representation. Vigo says, as a result, the leadership of Sagicor Life SVG has been transitioned to Stanley Brown and his company. He described the exercise as a smooth one and a change that was years in the making.
Well, as many of you nationals of St. Vincent are aware, Mr. Stanley Brown has worked very closely with Mr. Sid Hazel for many, many years. And so this is a transition which has been strongly recommended by Mr. Hazel and which has been fully accepted by Sagicor Life Inc. And so effective January 1st, 2015, SV Brown Agencies, headed by Mr. Stanley Brown, is now the general agent for Sagicor Life Inc. in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Sagicor Life, on behalf of Sagicor Life, we'd like to take this opportunity to thank Mr. Sid Hazel for the outstanding service and leadership that he has provided through Sagicor and his legacy companies in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and we wish him a long and successful.
Vigo further used the opportunity to officially welcome Stanley Brown as Sagicor's general agent and principal representative in SVG.
We are confident excuse me, that under Mr. Brown's leadership, that the stellar representation which was provided by Mr. Hazel and his company will continue for Sagicor Life. And so we also wish Mr. Stanley Brown every possible success, and we look forward to what we expect to be a long and mutually beneficial relationship between Sagicor Life Inc. and SV Brown Agencies.
Sagicor SVG has just about 22 employees, 14 agents, and 8 to 10 administrative staff. Minister of National Mobilization and Social Development Frederick Stevenson says everyone deserves the opportunity to improve upon themselves through education. He was at the time addressing a rally at the Victoria Park today, hosted by the National Society of Persons with Disabilities, NSPD. According to Stevenson, having a disability should not keep anyone back from having a good education, nor from being able to provide for themselves and live a comfortable life.
For vocational schools in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The intention there is not to discriminate against anyone. But if you are between the ages of 16 and 35, whether or not you have a disability, and you are so inclined to be involved in one of those training programs, whether it be woodwork, electrical installation, and I believe very soon that they're doing some plumbing as well. Very soon they're going to do into carpentry, ASP, and masonry. And you want to be involved, there's nothing to stop you, because we say that education is for all, whether or not you have a disability.
Stevenson went on to appeal to the business community to give more consideration to persons living with disabilities.
I want to make the call again to the business community. The persons with a disability who can answer the telephone and be a receptionist, give them an opportunity for work. They don't need hands out. Our people need help up.
Yes, that's right.
Not handout. We don't need anything, but give us the opportunity also to work, because we can do a job. There are many other areas of employment that the business sector can help government with in assisting our persons with disabilities. And I want to call on them and challenge them to come on board.
Here's a look at some performances that took place at the rally today.
Let us borrow, there's not minds at all. Jesus only, let me use them to brighten my life. So remind me, dear Lord.
Here's the mighty hero, he cleansed the leper. When the people saw him, they start rejoicing. Anywhere he went, my Lord, he was doing good.
On behalf of Girls High School, on behalf of the teachers, the students, that we have a donation here that we would like to give to the society. And not only did we come up with money, but we brought our young leaders to bring extra hand and be vigilant with you today to get as much contribution as possible.
He bled and died to buy my pardon, and empty grave is there to prove my Savior lived, because he lives.
Being here, not so much even raising the funds, but just being with you in solidarity is important.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I am a promise, I am a possibility, I am a promise with a capital P. I am a great, great bundle of potentiality.
Today's event was held under the theme Empowering Persons with Disabilities Through Education and Training. The objectives of the event were to raise funds for the Melanie Mackenzie Educational Scholarship Fund and to strengthen the relationship between the business community and the NSPD, as well as to heighten the awareness of persons living with disabilities in SVG. Minister Stevenson also says that 100 houses will be provided for persons living with disabilities in SVG. The houses will be provided under the Lives to Live program. The minister says all Vincentians deserve to live in comfort and peace, and it is the job of his government to ensure this happens.
This program would enable, through the Ministry of Social Development and the Ministry of Housing, to provide one-bedroom wooden houses for persons with disabilities who have nowhere to live. And in the first instance, we are hoping to roll out 100 of those houses. The ministry, in its restructuring program, have assigned special officers with specific duties in relation to how we deal with the persons with disabilities in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and how you can access the services. There's also the public assistance program, where some of you would receive your public assistance.
Parents and other adults are being advised to be mindful of the words they use to children. This advice comes from Pastor Dr. George Frederick, who was addressing a gathering of parents and teachers, as well as invited guests and students, at a parenting workshop held earlier this week at the Trumuka Secondary School. Frederick said the damage caused by a spoken word can never be undone or repaired when compared to physical injuries.
The proverb says a word fitly spoken is like apples of gold in pictures of silver. And hence the reason people say word is wind. Just say, just open your mouth and still jump out. Well, if word is wind, Hurricane Thomas was wind too, you know. So we can make people or break them with words. That's why we must pay attention to the things we say.
The Pan Against Crime Committee will continue its 7th anniversary celebrations with a special event in Rosebank tomorrow afternoon. The activity will be held in collaboration with the RSVG Police Force and the National Commission on Crime Prevention. The proceedings are expected to get going from 4 p.m. with pan music by the North Star Steel Orchestra alongside the Rose Hall Drummers and Classic Drummers. There are also a number of other groups slated to perform at tomorrow's event. Dr. Gerald Thompson will present a set of new pans to the North Stars Orchestra on behalf of the Pan Against Crime Committee, while lawyer Carlos James will deliver the feature address. Commissioner of Police Michael Charles will also make remarks at the event. The Pan Against Crime program is the brainchild of Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves and was implemented in several schools and community organizations across the country on February 20th, 2008. It is part of the government's crime-fighting approach to help the youth turn toward a life of music by learning how to play the steel pan.